Hey, good morning, everybody. So it's pretty early in the morning, not quite 6 a.m. yet, probably about 5:45 right now, and I wanted to kind of share some thoughts with you guys as to kind of a morning routine that I do, or that I get up early and how I do things. I want to talk about last night in meeting Mike and Missy and the family, but there were some just random thoughts that popped through my head. They usually do in the morning, and sometimes I talk too long and I get into the story of the people, so I didn't want to step on the toes of my meeting last night, but a few random thoughts came up this morning. I figured I was going to share them with you because I didn't do a night video last night as to yesterday and so forth. But yesterday was kind of cool in a couple of ways. Apparently, it must have been a slow news day throughout the country because I started getting emails and texts from people in different parts of the state and even the country that said, "Hey, I just read about your story in my local paper," and really supportive and wish you luck and things like that. And I had no knowledge of it or anything of that at all of how that story came to be. So some folks sent me links, and my friend Adam, he went on, and God, he found out that the Chicago Tribune, the L.A. Times, as well as like two or three small Pennsylvania papers had picked it up off the AP wire. So it wasn't a news story; it was a story that the New York Daily Record had put out there on the AP wire, but it was picked up and put in these newspapers. So folks are starting to hear about it. So that's kind of a nice thing. I had a laugh last night. There were a few things I wanted to kind of mention. So Mike and his boys picked me up um, on the west side of Greensburg, PA, and took me to the home. I'll talk about that later. Very hospitable, just amazing family, great kids. But when I got here, um, I met his wife briefly, who was heading out, and I'll talk about that later as well. But she's familiar with the route I'm planning on taking heading down to Route 66. And she said a couple of things that got me alarmed. Maybe it's planting a seed in my head, but she's basically saying I might be there for, and I don't know if I use the right term, monsoon season or something like that. Now, in my mind, the southwest of America is pretty dry, but I guess it has to get its rain, and when it does, it probably comes pretty hard. Um, but the other part that she mentioned, which is going to cause me, I have plenty of time, so I'm not concerned about it now, is to think the path that I'm going. Originally, I was going to take Route 30, the Lincoln Highway, straight across, um, but that would take me over the Rockies and Salt Lake City in not quite winter months, but months where it could snow. Um, Plus, having done 3,000 foot hills here in mountains in Pennsylvania, I couldn't imagine trying to walk over the Rockies. So my secondary plan, my version 2.0, was to head on down to Route 66. But then Missy was telling me how there are spots down there. I thought that there'd be enough because of the highway, enough touristy things, whether it be a motel, a small diner, something every 10, 15 miles, something like that to sustain me. And she said, well, there certainly is, but there's points where you'll go 30, 40, 50 miles with nothing in between. And I can't really plan on walking 30, 40, 50 miles in a day. And, if camping out is what I need to do, that's what I need to do. But I got to figure out if that's the best game plan now or not. So that's something I'll be working on over the next period of time. And then this morning I got up at around 5 o'clock or so, and last block windows is dark, so it's still dark outside, of course. Maybe it's my mind playing tricks with me now after hearing that from Missy yesterday, but I've been really blessed with nothing but really good weather so far. I haven't had to encounter even clouds, to be honest with you. The only rain we've seen was Sunday, and that was my day where I was resting, so I didn't have to deal with that. But I heard what sounded like thunder outside or rumblings of weather. So I immediately went to the phone to see what the forecast is. No, it looks pretty good. There's a slight chance of rain early afternoon today, so I'll deal with that later on as we go. Um, so as I was getting ready, uh, one of the things I got a kick about was I love people that have great monikers or email addresses or vanity license plates. So anyway, I was getting my funny email from Crocodile Bundy this morning. I just got a kick out of that. That was a great name. So thank you, Crocodile Bundy, for letting me know you're following me. I really appreciate that. And then the other thing, I'm not home right now, but when I'm home, I take care of my kids. I do my wash. Well, Mike and Missy let me do some wash here last night, so I did my wash and put a little bit I had in the dryer. But their dryer was full, so I took the stuff out and I planned. I figured I'd fold it in the morning for them and at least be decent that way to them. And it got me laughing about my own circumstances at home because I am a complete mess when it comes to colors and matching and all sorts of stuff. But I've got a son and daughter that are 3 years apart, and I had to start laughing at myself because not a load of wash goes by that I don't give the kids the wrong stuff. Jeans look like jeans to me every time. It's Dad, these are Kira's. Dad, these are Landon's. Well, they have sons 5 and 3. So I'm filling up their shorts and their drawers and stuff. I wouldn't know in any way in the world to tell these things apart. So they're a whole lot better than I am if they can do that. Um, so I got ready, situated this morning. Like I said, trying to plan the day. I did have in fact, Mike, who let me stay with him last night, I believe had reached out to his local paper before I came. And one of the reporters had reached out to me yesterday afternoon about possibly trying to meet with me and do a story. And it didn't work out last night, or yesterday, but that's where I let her know where I'd be walking today and kind of go from there. So maybe that happens. Maybe someone pulls up alongside me on the road today or reaches out and says they'd like to talk with me a little bit because anybody spreading the word of what I'm trying to do I think is important. Um, so today I'll be leaving from the west side of Greensburg, PA, and I'm heading to a town, my goal. Whew, excuse me. Still a little sleepy, excuse me, guys. The way it says in France is North Versailles, but Mike assured me the locals call it North Versailles. So it looks like I'll be heading to North Versailles, Pennsylvania, as the target town of where I'll be. I think it's about 18 miles or so from there because I kind of went a little bit further yesterday. Um, and then that will set me up for the following day to head into Pittsburgh. So today's Tuesday. My target is to go from Greensburg along Route 30 Lincoln Highway to North Versailles, and then from North Versailles on Wednesday I'll be heading into Pittsburgh. So um, looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the journey. Um, I will just keep playing it by ear. So those are some of the little interesting morning things that I just wanted to share with you guys. Some of the thought process goes through my head, checking the weather and getting myself situated and packed up. I don't know why I repack every day, and I don't know why that is because I don't know why I take everything out. It's probably real dumb on my part. Oh, the other thing I got this morning was an email that, in a way, it's a joke I've told for a long time, and I got it sent to me last night while I was sleeping. But in a way, it's kind of a microcosm of people, and it's sad and funny all at the same time. Um, so the joke kind of goes as a bus full of people heading down to the casino or something like that, and it crashes, and one by one they're sent to heaven, and they're granted one wish, and the first lady says, well, I'd really like to be beautiful, spend my eternity very beautiful, so poof, she's beautiful, and then this goes all the way down the line, so on. Every person thereafter, man or woman, says, yeah, I'd like to spend my eternity beautiful as well, and the whole time at the back of the line is some guy laughing the whole time. And finally, it's his turn, and he said, "You want to be beautiful too?" He says, "No, make them all ugly again." And it's it's kind of funny, but in a way, it's kind of sad too, because I can even see myself being that guy to some degree. That some people, would rather see other people miserable than themselves happy, and there's a lot of people out there like that. And I guess maybe it was a point in my life where maybe that was me. I don't know. It's not. I don't want to probably think of that way, but it might be true. So, but that joke kind of sums it up, and there's some truth in it. And I know people like this. I may have been a person like that. So anyway, there's the joke, right? So the last guy says, "Make them all ugly again," and that gave me a little bit of a smile this morning when I saw the joke. So that's it for today. As I said, I was in a bunch of newspapers yesterday, got some feedback. The list is growing. I put out a pretty passionate plea on one of my midday videos yesterday. Um, Not much has turned up in terms of fruition with that, but I'm not going to give up. I really still think that if we each commit to ourselves to the PTT concept, of just getting one more person to follow every day, once a week. That's it, just once a week, and we ask them to donate $5 to the GoFundMe. By week 5, this will just be uh, phenomenal. So I'm not going to give up hope with that. I'm not going to probably be as passionate about asking for that help as I was yesterday. That was my one and done deal. But that's kind of still where my mind is with this thing. We're just the second day of week 2 of a 20+ week journey. So there's still so much unknown ahead. For those that don't know, um, tomorrow's or today, I don't have any place lined up, but that's part of the story, right? Yesterday was kind of comforting to know that Mike and I already arranged. He had reached out to me and said, "You can stay with us." I don't have that known factor today. Today's an unknown. So that's always a bit of a challenge as well. But we'll make it happen. Um, I'm convinced that day by day, I'm seeing that there are really good people out there and the stories they tell. So I'm going to get off for now. I love you guys. And later on, when I get on the road, I'll kind of recap Mike and Missy and the family a little bit and last night and some of the things I learned and kind of things that stuck out with me. All right? Have a great morning, great day, guys. Bye bye.